Chosen one, if you're watching this video right now, it's no accident. You weren't led here by chance. God Himself has guided you to this moment because you're under a spiritual attack. He has a divine message that will arm you with the power to overcome. The enemy is working overtime to dim your light, to steal your peace, to block your destiny. But you are God's chosen one, and no force in heaven or earth can stand against His plan for you. In the Christian faith, 3333 symbolizes God's divine protection and the amplified power of His Holy Trinity, echoing the number 3's biblical tie to spiritual strength and divine completeness. Right now, you're about to discover a powerful prayer, a spiritual weapon so mighty it will shatter every chain, silence every lie, and unleash a flood of divine protection over your life. Stay with me until the end, chosen one, because this is not just a message. It's a divine encounter that will shift your reality and set you free. Before we dive into this life-changing revelation, I need you to do 3 things to activate the divine energy of this message. Pause this video, hit that like button to send this truth soaring to others under attack. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls standing firm in their faith, and leave a comment with the number 3333 below. That number, 3333, is a sacred signal to the universe, a declaration that you're ready to wield the power of God's protection and claim victory in this spiritual warfare. If your spirit feels a pull to stay, it's because this message was crafted for you. Don't ignore it. Don't turn away. This is your moment to rise above the enemy's schemes and step into the divine authority God has given you. Let's start with the truth that might shake you. You're under spiritual attack because you're chosen. The enemy doesn't waste his time on those who pose no threat. He targets those who carry a divine calling, those whose light shines so brightly it threatens his darkness. You chosen one are a beacon of God's glory, a vessel of His purpose, a warrior in His kingdom. That's why the attacks have been relentless doubts creeping into your mind, obstacles blocking your path, chaos swirling around you. But here's the good news. The enemy's attacks are no match for God's power. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12 states, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." You're not fighting a human battle, chosen one. You're fighting a spiritual one, and God has already equipped you to win. What does a spiritual attack look like? It's the heaviness that weighs on your heart when you try to pray. It's the confusion that clouds your decisions when you're seeking God's will. It's the financial strain that makes you question His provision. The relationships that falter, the dreams that seem to slip further away. But let me tell you something. These attacks are not a sign of your weakness. They're a sign of your strength. The enemy only attacks what he fears. And he fears you because you carry the light of God's purpose. You are a threat to his plans, a force he cannot control, a chosen one he cannot defeat. The moment you recognize this, you shift from victim to victor, from attacked to empowered. Now let's talk about the powerful prayer that will change everything. This prayer is not just words. It's a spiritual weapon, a divine declaration that activates God's protection and unleashes His power in your life. When you pray this prayer, you're not begging for help. You're claiming the authority God has given you as His chosen one. You're standing firm in the face of the enemy, declaring that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Isaiah chapter 54 verse 17 confirms, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." This prayer will align your spirit with God's will, clear the fog of spiritual warfare, and open the floodgates of divine breakthroughs. Are you ready, chosen one? Because the moment you speak these words, the enemy's grip on your life will begin to crumble. Here's the prayer. Heavenly Father, I come before you as your chosen one, clothed in your strength and covered by your love. I declare that no weapon formed against me shall prosper, for you are my shield and my fortress. In the name of Jesus, I rebuke every spirit of fear, doubt, and confusion. I claim your divine protection over my mind, my heart, my body, and my destiny. Let your angels surround me. Let your light shine through me. and let your power flow within me. I am yours, Lord, and no force of darkness can stand against your plan for my life. I walk in victory, I stand in faith, I rise in your glory. Amen. Speak this prayer daily, chosen one. Speak it with boldness, speak it with faith. Watch as God moves mountains in your life. Let me share a story to ignite your faith. Think of Harriet Tubman, a woman who faced unimaginable opposition, slavery, danger, and a world that tried to break her spirit. Yet she trusted in God's guidance, leading countless souls to freedom through the Underground Railroad. The enemy tried to stop her, but her faith was her shield. Her prayer was her sword, and her purpose was her victory. You chosen one are walking a similar path. The spiritual attacks you face are real, but so is God's power within you. Just as Harriet overcame, you will overcome. Your prayers are not in vain. They're shaking the heavens and dismantling the enemy's plans. You might be wondering, why me? Why am I under attack? It's because your destiny is too big for the enemy to ignore. God has placed a calling on your life that will change the world, whether it's through your career, your family, your creativity, or your faith. The enemy sees the potential in you, the light that shines through you, the abundance mindset that's growing within you. He's trying to stop you before you fully step into your divine purpose. But here's the truth. He's already lost. Colossians chapter 2, verse 15 reveals, Jesus disarmed the powers and authorities, making a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross. The enemy has no power over you, chosen one. You are already victorious. Let's pause for a moment to activate the divine energy of this message. Hit that like button to share this powerful truth with others under spiritual attack. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls standing firm in their faith, and leave a comment with the number 3333 below. That number is a sacred declaration that you're ready to claim God's protection, ready to wield His power, ready to rise above every attack. Your actions are more than clicks. They're a signal to the heavens that you're standing in your divine authority. Don't just watch, act. Let the universe know that you're ready to overcome. Now let's dive deeper into spiritual warfare. The enemy's attacks are not random, they're strategic. He targets your mind, planting seeds of doubt to make you question God's promises. He targets your heart, stirring fear to keep you from stepping boldly into your purpose. He targets your resources, creating obstacles to block your financial freedom. But here's the secret. Every attack is an opportunity to grow strong. Every lie he whispers is a chance to declare God's truth. Every obstacle he places is a stepping stone to your divine destiny. James chapter 4 verse 7 declares, "Submit yourselves then to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Submit to God, chosen one, and watch the enemy run." This spiritual warfare is not about fighting in your own strength. It's about standing in God's power. Think of a lighthouse standing firm against crashing waves. The storm rages, but the lighthouse doesn't budge. Its light pierces the darkness, guiding ships to safety. That's you, chosen one. You are God's lighthouse, unshaken by the storms of spiritual attack, shining His light to guide others. Your prayers, your faith, your resilience, they're not just for you. They're a beacon for those lost in the darkness, a testimony to God's unyielding power. Let me share another example to inspire you. Consider Sojourner Truth, a woman who rose from slavery to become a powerful voice for justice. She faced spiritual and physical attacks, oppression, hatred, and doubt. But she stood firm, declaring God's truth with boldness. Her faith didn't just change her life, it changed history. You, chosen one, have that same power. The spiritual attacks you're facing are not the end of your story. They're the beginning of your legacy. Every prayer you pray, every step you take in faith is building a foundation for a life of impact and abundance. Now let's talk about the armor of God. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 11 mentions, "Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes." This armor is your divine protection, chosen one. The belt of truth guards your mind against lies. The breastplate of righteousness protects your heart from guilt. The shield of faith deflects every fiery dart of doubt. The helmet of salvation secures your identity as God's chosen one. The sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, is your weapon to cut through the enemy's attacks, and your feet fitted with the gospel of peace carry you forward in confidence. This armor is not just for defense, it's for victory. When you pray that powerful prayer, you're putting on this armor. You're declaring that you're not fighting alone. God is with you. His angels surround you. His Spirit empowers you. Imagine yourself standing tall, clothed in divine light, with the enemy's attacks bouncing off you like arrows off a shield. That's the power you carry, chosen one. That's the authority you wield. The enemy may try to intimidate you, but he cannot touch what God has protected. Your life, your purpose, your destiny. They're all under his divine covering. Let's explore the power of praise in spiritual warfare. Praise is not just singing songs. It's a weapon that shifts the atmosphere. When you praise God in the midst of an attack, you're declaring his sovereignty over your circumstances. You're reminding the enemy that he has no power over you. 2 Chronicles chapter 20 verse 22 reveals, "As they began to sing and praise, the Lord set ambushes against the enemies, and they were defeated." Your praise confuses the enemy, chosen one. It drowns out his lies and amplifies God's truth. So lift your voice, lift your heart, and praise God for his goodness, his power, his promises. Think of Paul and Silas imprisoned and bound. Yet they chose to praise God in the darkness. Their worship shook the prison walls, broke their chains, and set them free. Acts chapter 16 verses 25 to 26 confirms this. Your praise has that same power, chosen one. When you worship in the face of spiritual attack, you're breaking chains, shaking foundations, and opening doors. Your praise is a declaration that God is greater, that his plan is perfect, that his victory is certain. So praise him today. Praise him through the storm. Watch as he turns your battle into a breakthrough. Let's pause again to amplify this divine energy. Hit that like button to share this message of spiritual victory. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls standing strong in their faith, and leave a comment with the number 3333. That number is your declaration that you're ready to wield the power of praise, ready to claim God's protection, ready to rise above every attack. Your actions are a signal to the heavens. Now let's talk about the power of focus. The enemy loves to distract you, to pull your attention away from God's promises and toward your problems. But when you focus on God, you shift the battle in your favor. Psalm chapter 121 verse 2 states, "I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth." When you fix your eyes on God, you see his power, his love, his provision. The spiritual attacks fade in the light of his glory, and your path becomes clear. Imagine a runner in a race, eyes locked on the finish line. Distractions, crowds, noise, even other runners can't break their focus. That's you, chosen one. You're running the race God has set before you, and your focus is your strength. Don't let the enemy's attacks pull you off course. Keep your eyes on God's promises, financial freedom, personal transformation, divine purpose. Every step you take in faith brings you closer to the finish line where victory is waiting. Let me share a story to inspire you. Think of George Washington Carver, a man born into slavery who faced countless obstacles yet became a world-renowned scientist. The enemy tried to limit him with poverty and prejudice, but he kept his focus on God's calling. He prayed, he worked, he trusted, and God used him to revolutionize agriculture. You, chosen one, have that same resilience. The spiritual attacks you face are not the end. They're the setup for your breakthrough. Keep your focus on God and watch as he turns your obstacles into opportunities. Now let's talk about the power of alignment. When you align your thoughts, words, and actions with God's will, you become a conduit for his miracles. Spiritual attacks often come to knock you out of alignment, to make you doubt your purpose or question your worth. But when you stay aligned, you're untouchable. Romans chapter 12 verse 2 declares, Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renew your mind, chosen one. Fill it with God's truth. Speak His promises. Act in faith. That's how you stay aligned and unstoppable. Alignment is like tuning an instrument. When every string is in harmony, the music is beautiful. Your life is God's symphony, and every attack is an attempt to throw it out of tune. But when you align with His will, your life plays a melody of abundance, peace, and purpose. You start to attract divine opportunities, new connections, unexpected resources, breakthroughs you never saw coming. This is the power of living in alignment, chosen one. It's the key to overcoming every spiritual attack and stepping into the fullness of God's plan. Let's explore the concept of spiritual authority. As God's chosen one, you have been given authority over the enemy's schemes. Luke chapter 10, verse 19 states, "I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you." This authority is not something you earn, it's something you claim. When you pray that powerful prayer, you're exercising your authority, declaring that the enemy has no hold over you. You're not just surviving spiritual warfare, you're dominating it. Think of a general leading an army. They don't cower before the enemy. They command with confidence, knowing their authority. That's you, chosen one. You're not a foot soldier in this spiritual battle. You're a general clothed in God's authority, backed by His power. Every time you pray, every time you praise, every time you stand in faith, you're issuing a divine command that the enemy must obey. So stand tall, chosen one. Speak with boldness. Walk in your authority. The enemy's attacks are no match for the power God has placed within you. Let's talk about the power of gratitude in spiritual warfare. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a weapon that shifts the battlefield. When you give thanks in the midst of an attack, you're declaring that God is still good, that His promises are still true, that His victory is still certain. Philippians chapter 4 verses 6 to 7 mentions, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Gratitude guards your heart, chosen one. It protects your peace and strengthens your faith. Imagine a soldier in battle pausing to give thanks for their strength, their allies, their mission. That gratitude doesn't weaken them. It empowers them. It reminds them why they fight. Your gratitude does the same, chosen one. When you thank God for His provision, His protection, His purpose, you're reminding the enemy that he's already defeated. You're declaring that your focus is on God's goodness, not the enemy's attacks. So give thanks today. Thank God for the victory that's coming, the breakthroughs that are near, the abundance that's yours. Let's pause once more to amplify this divine message. Hit that like button to share this truth with others fighting spiritual battles. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls claiming their divine authority, and leave a comment with the number 3333 below. That number is your declaration that you're ready to wield the power of gratitude, ready to stand in God's protection, ready to rise above every attack. Your actions are a signal to the heavens. Let the universe know that you're standing firm in your divine authority. Now, let's dive into the power of persistence. Spiritual attacks are designed to wear you down, to make you feel like giving up. But you, chosen one, are built for endurance. Your faith is your strength, your prayers are your fuel, and your purpose is your fire. Galatians chapter 6 verse 9 confirms, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Your harvest is coming, chosen one. Every prayer you've prayed, every stand you've taken, every moment you've chosen faith over fear. It's all building toward a breakthrough that will shake the heavens. Persistence is like a river carving through stone. It may take time, but it's unstoppable. The enemy's attacks may feel like a mountain in your path, but your persistence, fueled by God's power, will carve a way through. Think of Thomas Alva Edison, who faced thousands of failures before inventing the light bulb. Each setback was a step toward victory, a testament to his persistence. You chosen one have that same tenacity. The spiritual attacks you face are not the end. They're the path to your triumph. Keep praying, keep believing, keep standing. Your victory is closer than you think. Chosen one, as you stand firm in this spiritual battle, know that your persistence is not just a defense. It's a divine declaration of victory. The enemy may try to wear you down, but every moment you choose to stand in faith, you're building a legacy of triumph. Your prayers, your courage, your unshakable belief in God's promises, they're not just shielding you from spiritual attacks. They're forging a path to a life of divine abundance. You're not just surviving this warfare, you're thriving in it, rising above every challenge with a power that comes directly from God. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 57 declares, "But thanks be to God, He gives us victory through our Lord Jesus Christ." That victory is yours, chosen one, and it's unfolding right now. Let's explore the power of vision in spiritual warfare. The enemy wants to cloud your vision to make you focus on the chaos around you instead of the destiny God has placed before you. But you, chosen one, have been given a divine gift, the ability to see beyond the battle, to envision a future filled with purpose, prosperity, and peace. This vision is not just a dream. It's a divine blueprint, a glimpse of the life God is calling you to live. When you hold fast to this vision, you align your heart with His will, and no spiritual attack can steal it from you. Your vision is your compass, guiding you through the storms of warfare to the shores of abundance. Imagine a painter standing before a blank canvas. The world sees emptiness, but the painter sees a masterpiece waiting to be created. That's you, chosen one. The spiritual attacks you face are just a blank canvas, and God is handing you the brush. With every prayer, every act of faith, every moment of trust, you're painting a picture of victory, of financial breakthroughs, of personal transformation. Don't let the enemy's lies convince you that the canvas is ruined. Your life is God's masterpiece, and every stroke of faith is bringing it to life. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 18 states, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." Hold on to your vision, chosen one, because it's the key to your divine destiny. Let me share a story to ignite your inspiration. Consider Clara Barton, the founder of the American Red Cross, who faced countless challenges in a male-dominated world. She endured skepticism, financial hardship, and personal loss. Yet her vision of helping others drove her forward. She didn't let the attacks of doubt or opposition stop her. She saw a world where compassion could triumph, and she made it a reality. You, chosen one, have a vision just as powerful. The spiritual attacks you face are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to strengthen your resolve, to clarify your vision, to prepare you for the impact you're destined to make. Now let's talk about the power of declaration. Your words are not just sounds, they're spiritual weapons that shape the atmosphere around you. When you declare God's promises over your life, you're pushing back the enemy's attacks and aligning your reality with divine truth. Speak boldly, chosen one. Declare, "I am God's chosen one, and no spiritual attack can stop me. I walk in divine protection. I live in divine abundance. I am destined for greatness." These declarations are not just words. They're decrees that shift the spiritual realm, dismantling the enemy's plans and activating God's blessings. Think of a conductor leading an orchestra. Every note they direct creates harmony, turning chaos into beauty. Your declarations are like that conductor's baton, bringing order to the chaos of spiritual warfare. When you speak God's truth, you're creating a symphony of victory, a melody of abundance that drowns out the enemy's noise. Job chapter 22, verse 28 confirms, "You will also declare a thing, and it will be established for you, so light will shine on your ways." Your words have power, chosen one. Use them to declare your victory, to claim your blessings, to shape your destiny. Let's pause to amplify this divine energy. Hit that like button to share this message of spiritual victory with others fighting their battles. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls wielding the power of faith and leave a comment with the number 3333 below. That number is your sacred declaration that you're ready to speak God's truth, ready to claim His protection, ready to rise above every attack. Your actions are a signal to the heavens. Let the universe know that you're standing strong in your divine authority. Now let's dive into the power of trust. Trust is the foundation of your victory in spiritual warfare. The enemy wants you to doubt God's goodness, to question His promises, to fear that He's forgotten you, but trust is your shield, chosen one. When you trust in God's plan, you are saying, I believe you are greater than my circumstances. I believe your promises are true. I believe my breakthrough is coming. Trust transforms your perspective, turning fear into faith, doubt into certainty, attacks into opportunities. Psalm chapter 56 verse 3 mentions, when I am afraid, I put my trust in you. That's your battle cry, chosen one. Trust in God and watch the enemy flee. Trust is like planting a seed in fertile soil. You may not see the sprout right away, but you know it's growing beneath the surface. Every moment you trust God, you're planting seeds of victory, of financial freedom, of personal transformation. Those seeds will bear fruit in God's perfect timing, producing a harvest of blessings that will overflow in your life. Don't let the enemy uproot your trust with his lies. Keep your faith rooted in God's truth and watch as He cultivates a garden of abundance in your life. Let me share an example to inspire you. Think of Marie Curie, a scientist who faced relentless opposition in a world that doubted women's capabilities. She endured financial struggles, societal rejection, and personal hardships. Yet she trusted in her calling to advance science. Her discoveries in radioactivity changed the world, earning her 2 Nobel Prizes. You, chosen one, have that same resilience. The spiritual attacks you face are not the end. They are the soil where your trust is growing, preparing you for a harvest of divine breakthroughs. Trust God's process and watch as He turns your battles into blessings. Now let's talk about the power of surrender in spiritual warfare. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means giving over your battles to God. It means releasing the need to fight in your own strength and trusting in His power. When you surrender, you're not admitting defeat. You're claiming victory. You're saying, God, I trust you to fight for me. I trust you to protect me. I trust you to lead me to triumph. Exodus chapter 14 verse 14 declares, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. That's your strategy, chosen one. Be still, surrender, and let God win the battle. Surrender is like handing over the reins of a chariot to a master driver. You don't have to steer through the chaos. God knows the way. When you surrender your fears, your worries, your struggles, you're allowing Him to guide you to a place of peace, abundance, and purpose. This act of surrender doesn't diminish you. It empowers you. It aligns you with God's will, opening the door to miracles you never thought possible. So surrender today, chosen one. Let go of the need to control and let God's power flow through you. Let's explore the concept of divine timing in spiritual warfare. The enemy wants you to believe that your breakthrough is delayed, that God has forgotten you. But God's timing is perfect, chosen one. Every attack you face is part of a divine process, preparing you for the moment when His promises manifest. Think of a diamond formed under pressure. Its beauty is revealed only after time and transformation. You're that diamond, chosen one. The pressure of spiritual attacks is shaping you, refining you, preparing you to shine with God's glory. Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31 states, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Your hope in God's timing is your strength, chosen one. Every moment you wait, every prayer you pray, every attack you endure, it's all part of the process that's lifting you higher. Trust that God is aligning every detail of your life for a breakthrough that will leave you in awe. Your season of victory is coming, and it's closer than you think. Let's talk about the power of community in spiritual warfare. You're not fighting alone, chosen one. God has surrounded you with a spiritual army, angels, believers, and a community of chosen ones who are standing with you. The enemy wants to isolate you to make you feel like you're facing these attacks alone. But you're part of a divine network, a collective of souls who are praying, believing, and fighting alongside you. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 1 reveals, "We are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses." That cloud is cheering you on, chosen one reminding you that you're never alone. Imagine a forest of trees, their roots intertwined beneath the soil. Each tree stands tall, but it's their connection that gives them strength to withstand the fiercest storms. That's you, chosen one, rooted in God's love and connected to a community of faith. When you hit that like button, subscribe, and comment 3333, you're joining that forest, declaring your place in this divine community. Your actions strengthen not just you, but everyone around you, creating a ripple effect of faith, hope, and victory. Let's pause to amplify this divine message. Hit that like button to share this truth with others, fighting spiritual battles. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls standing strong in their faith, and leave a comment with the number 3333. That number is your declaration that you're part of God's army, ready to claim His protection, ready to rise above every attack. Your actions are a signal to the heavens. Now let's dive into the power of gratitude as a spiritual weapon. Gratitude doesn't just change your heart, it changes the battlefield. When you give thanks in the midst of an attack, you're declaring that God's goodness is greater than the enemy's schemes. You're reminding yourself and the world that His promises are true, His power is unmatched, and His plan is perfect. Gratitude shifts your focus from the attack to the victory, from the problem to the promise, from the battle to the breakthrough. Psalm chapter 100 verse 4 declares, "Enter His gates with thanksgiving and His courts with praise." Your gratitude is your entryway to God's presence, chosen one, where no enemy can follow. Chosen one, as you stand in the midst of this spiritual warfare, know that your gratitude is not just a shield. It's a divine catalyst, igniting a fire of transformation that burns through every attack. The enemy may try to dim your light, but when you give thanks, you're turning up the brightness of God's glory within you. Your gratitude is a declaration that you trust in His plan, that you believe in His provision, that you're ready to step into the abundance He has promised. Every time you choose to give thanks, you're shifting the atmosphere, creating a space where miracles flourish and spiritual attacks lose their power. You're not just fighting a battle. You're creating a legacy of faith, a testimony of triumph, a life of divine purpose. Let's dive into the power of discernment in spiritual warfare. As God's chosen one, you've been gifted with a divine ability to see through the enemy's deceptions. Discernment is like a spiritual radar, helping you navigate the chaos of attacks with clarity and wisdom. The enemy loves to sow confusion to make you question your path, to blur the lines between truth and lies. But your discernment cuts through the fog, revealing God's will with crystal clear precision. 1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 14 states, "The person without the Spirit does not accept the things that come from the Spirit of God, but considers them foolishness and cannot understand them because they are discerned only through the Spirit." You, chosen one, have the Spirit of God within you, and that Spirit gives you the power to see what others cannot. Imagine a captain steering a ship through a stormy sea. The waves crash, the winds howl, but the captain's compass remains steady, guiding them to safety. That's your discernment, chosen one, a divine compass that keeps you on course no matter how fierce the spiritual attacks become. When you lean into this gift, you start to see the enemy's tactics for what they are: empty threats, hollow lies, distractions meant to pull you away from your destiny. Your discernment empowers you to make choices aligned with God's will, to walk in confidence, to live in the abundance mindset that sets you apart. Trust your discernment, chosen one. It's God's gift to guide you to victory. Let me share a story to inspire you. Think of Florence Nightingale, the pioneer of modern nursing, who faced relentless opposition in a world that doubted women's capabilities. Amid disease, war, and skepticism, she discerned her calling to heal and serve, trusting God's guidance over society's limitations. Her discernment led her to transform healthcare, saving countless lives. You chosen one have that same gift. The spiritual attacks you face are not roadblocks. They're signposts pointing you toward your divine purpose. Your discernment is your strength, helping you navigate every challenge with wisdom and grace, leading you to a life of impact and abundance. Now let's talk about the power of obedience in spiritual warfare. Obedience to God's will is not about restriction, it's about liberation. When you obey His call, you're stepping out of the enemy's reach and into the safety of His plan. The enemy wants you to rebel, to follow your own path, to chase worldly distractions. But obedience aligns you with divine protection, positioning you to receive financial breakthroughs, personal transformation, and spiritual victory. John chapter 15 verse 10 declares, "If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in His love." Your obedience, chosen one, is your gateway to God's love and favor. Obedience is like building a house on a rock. When the storms come, the house stands firm because its foundation is unshakable. Your obedience to God's will is that rock, chosen one. Every time you choose to follow His guidance, whether it's forgiving an enemy, pursuing a dream, or trusting His timing, you're building a life that no spiritual attack can destroy. The enemy may try to shake you, but your obedience keeps you grounded, rooted in God's promises, ready to receive His abundance. So obey, boldly chosen one. Step into His will with confidence, knowing that every act of obedience is a step toward your divine destiny. Let's pause to amplify this divine energy. Hit that like button to share this message of spiritual victory with others fighting their battles. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls walking in obedience to God's call, and leave a comment with the number 333 below. That number is your sacred declaration that you're ready to align with God's will, ready to claim His protection, ready to rise above every attack. Your actions are a signal to the heavens. Let the universe know that you're standing firm in your divine authority. Now, let's explore the power of stillness in spiritual warfare. In the midst of chaos, God calls you to be still, not out of weakness, but out of strength. Stillness is not passivity. It's a deliberate choice to rest in God's presence, to trust in His power, to let Him fight your battles. The enemy thrives on chaos, hoping to overwhelm you with noise and distraction. But when you choose stillness, you're creating a sacred space where God's voice becomes clear. His peace becomes your shield, and His power becomes your weapon. Psalm chapter 46 verse 10 declares, "Be still and know that I am God." That stillness, chosen one, is your secret weapon in spiritual warfare. Imagine a lake, calm and serene, reflecting the sky above. Even when storms rage around it, the lake remains steady, its depths untouched. That's you, chosen one, when you embrace stillness. The spiritual attacks may swirl around you, but in your stillness, you reflect God's glory, radiating His peace and power. This stillness allows you to hear His guidance, to feel His presence, to know His plan. It's where your abundance mindset grows, where your faith deepens, where your victory is secured. So still today, chosen one. Rest in God's presence and watch as He turns your battles into blessings. Let me share an example to ignite your faith. Consider Abraham Lincoln, a man who faced immense pressure as a leader during a divided time. Amid political turmoil, personal loss, small and relentless criticism, he found strength in moments of quiet reflection and prayer. His stillness allowed him to lead with wisdom, to unite a nation, to leave a legacy of freedom. You, chosen one, have that same power. The spiritual attacks you face are not meant to break you. They're meant to draw you into God's presence, where your strength is renewed and your purpose is clarified. Embrace stillness and watch as God works miracles in your life. Now let's talk about the power of expectation. Expectation is the spark that ignites your faith. The belief that God's promises are not just possible, but inevitable. The enemy wants you to expect failure, to anticipate defeat, to settle for less. But as God's chosen one, you're called to expect greatness, to anticipate breakthroughs, to believe in abundance. When you live with an expectation of God's goodness, you're aligning your heart with His will, opening the door to miracles that will transform your life. Mark chapter 11, verse 24 declares, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours." Your expectation, chosen one, is the key to unlocking God's blessings. Expectation is like a gardener tending a field, knowing that the seeds planted will yield a bountiful harvest. You don't see the fruit yet, but you trust the process. You water the soil. You wait with hope. That's you, chosen one, planting seeds of faith with every prayer, every act of obedience, every moment of trust. Your expectation of God's provision, whether it's financial freedom, spiritual victory, or personal transformation, sets the stage for His miracles. So expect a bold, chosen one. Believe that your breakthrough is coming, that your victory is certain, that your life is about to overflow with God's abundance. Let's dive into the power of joy in spiritual warfare. Joy is not just an emotion, it's a divine force that disarms the enemy. The enemy wants to steal your joy, to weigh you down with worry and fear. But when you choose joy, you're declaring that God's goodness is greater than any attack. Joy is your rebellion against the enemy's schemes, your testimony of God's faithfulness, your weapon of spiritual victory. Nehemiah chapter 8 verse 10 states, "The joy of the Lord is your strength." That joy, chosen one, is your power to rise above every spiritual attack, to shine in the darkness, to live in abundance. Imagine a flame burning brightly in the night. No matter how dark it gets, the flame doesn't waver. It only shines brighter. That's your joy, chosen one, a divine flame that the enemy cannot extinguish. When you choose joy in the face of spiritual attacks, you're radiating God's light, transforming the atmosphere around you. Your joy attracts blessings, opens doors, and inspires others. It's a declaration that you trust God's plan, that you believe in His provision, that you're ready for the breakthroughs He's prepared. So choose joy today, chosen one. Let it fuel your faith, lift your spirit, and lead you to victory. Let's pause again to amplify this divine message. Hit that like button to share this truth with others fighting spiritual battles. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls embracing their divine joy, and leave a comment with the number 3333. That number is your declaration that you're ready to shine with God's joy, ready to claim His protection, ready to rise above every attack. Your actions are a signal to the heavens. Let the universe know that you're living in the power of your divine calling. Now let's explore the power of connection in spiritual warfare. You were not created to fight alone. God has placed you in a divine network of believers, angels, and spiritual allies who are standing with you. The enemy wants to isolate you, to make you feel like you're facing these attacks on your own, but you're part of a greater whole, a tapestry of faith woven together by God's love. Matthew chapter 18 verse 20 declares, "For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there am I with them." Your connection to others strengthens your faith, amplifies your prayers, and multiplies your victories. As you stand firm against spiritual attacks, wielding the power of prayer to claim God's protection and victory, a new challenge emerges in the form of human deception. The enemy's tactics extend beyond spiritual assaults, stirring conflicts through lies and hidden truths about you. Yet these disputes are not mere coincidences. They are part of the divine unveiling of your purpose. God is using both the battles within and the betrayals around you to refine your strength, guiding you to rise above falsehoods and walk boldly in the truth of your calling as His chosen one. You can run from the truth, but it has a way of showing up at your door. It doesn't knock. It kicks the damn thing in, chosen one. This was never going to stay buried forever. You felt it in your bones, the tension, the whispers, the way their eyes darted away whenever your name came up. They thought they could control the narrative, that their lies were strong enough to erase you. But here's the thing about lies, they're like termites. They eat away at the walls in silence until one day the whole house collapses and everyone sees the rot inside. That collapse came for them, and it came hard. You might be wondering why now. Why did it all blow up at this exact moment? Because the universe is patient, but it is not blind. The truth they've been choking down has been scratching at their throats. When someone finally had the guts to speak it out loud, it set off a chain reaction they couldn't stop. The lies they spun so tightly around you became a noose around their own necks, and that noose just got yanked. Picture this: two people locked in a showdown, not over some petty issue, but because you exist. Your name, your story, your innocence, it's the fault line running beneath their world. One wrong word, one hint of honesty, and their whole foundation trembles. The air between them crackles like static before a lightning strike. When it hits, it's not just words anymore, it's rage, it's fear, it's years of hidden truth tearing through their carefully staged performance. They weren't just fighting each other. They were fighting the reality that you are untouchable by their lies. Every punch, every raised voice, every trembling hand was a confession they couldn't bring themselves to say directly to you. We lied, and now we can't control what happens next. You became their mirror, chosen one, a mirror they hate because it shows the reflection of everything they tried to bury. The moment of truth isn't always a soft, quiet revelation. Sometimes it's a violent rip, like fabric tearing in the dead of night. It's the kind of moment that exposes every hidden stitch, every sloppy repair they thought no one would notice. When that moment comes, it leaves nothing untouched. That's what happened here. Their lies, which once felt like walls closing in on you, are now crumbling in front of everyone's eyes, and those bricks are falling right back on them. Here's the part that should make you smile, chosen one. You didn't have to lift a finger. This wasn't your fight to start, and it wasn't your job to finish it. The universe staged the whole thing in perfect timing. You stayed in your lane, kept your dignity, and they still couldn't escape the consequences of what they did. That's the kind of power you have, the kind that doesn't scream or beg. It simply exists, and existing is enough to make them unravel. You might be asking, but why are they so desperate to hold on to their lies? Because the truth is a death sentence to their image. Once the truth about how they really feel about you is out there, it changes everything: how people see them, how they see themselves, and how they're remembered. They built a whole identity around pretending you didn't matter, that you were unimportant. Now that truth has escaped, that entire false identity is collapsing like a stage set in a storm. Here's the brutal reality: when you are the truth chosen one, your very existence is a threat. You don't have to confront them. You don't have to argue. Just being yourself, just living in your authenticity is enough to make them panic. When people panic, they make mistakes. They lash out. They expose themselves without realizing it. That's exactly what happened the day their lies came home to bite them. Imagine a fortress that's been standing for years, built stone by stone with deception and false stories. They thought it was unbreakable. But you were the storm. Not a storm they could see approaching, but one that had been quietly building, pulling in strength from every truth they tried to suppress. When you finally hit, it wasn't a drizzle, it was a hurricane. Their walls didn't just crack, they disintegrated. They were left standing in the ruins with everyone watching. What they underestimated was the resilience of the chosen one. They thought you'd break under their lies. Instead, you outlasted them. Now they're the ones choking on their own words, replaying every lie they ever told, every fake smile they ever gave, every sneaky whisper they thought you'd never hear about. They are haunted by their own deception. No fight, no shouting match, no desperate denial can save them from that truth. So remember this, chosen one: you don't always need to fight back with your hands or even your voice. Sometimes the loudest revenge is silence. Sometimes the most powerful move is letting the truth do its work. The truth, once it's out, is relentless. It doesn't stop. It doesn't soften. It doesn't care how much they beg. It keeps spreading just like a fire they can't put out. This was their moment of truth, but it became your moment of freedom. The chains they tried to wrap around your name have snapped. The image they tried to paint of you has been ripped to shreds. The best part? You didn't even have to touch the brush. Sorrowfully, a lie can wear armor, but the truth carries a sledgehammer. My chosen one, this was never just an argument. No, this was a full-blown collision between the world they wanted everyone to believe and the world as it actually is. Resentment, fear, jealousy, All those toxins they'd been storing inside finally had nowhere to hide. When that dam broke, it didn't just trickle, it flooded. You could feel the electricity in the air, like the moments before two storms collide and the sky tears open. Why did it happen this way? Why so violently? Because pretending takes energy, and they've been pretending for far too long. Pretending they don't see you, pretending you don't matter, pretending your presence doesn't shift the air in the room. That level of denial drains people, chosen one. It eats at their insides until one day they simply can't keep the mask on anymore. When the mask slips, everything underneath, the envy, the grudges, the truth they swore they'd never admit, bursts out all at once. You don't destroy a hurricane by ignoring it. You get out of the way, or you get swallowed whole. Imagine this for a moment. A train has been speeding down the track for years, full of passengers who think they're safe, completely unaware that another train is barreling toward them from the opposite direction. Both are going too fast to stop. The moment they collide, the crash doesn't just affect the two engines, it sends shockwaves down every carriage. That's what happened when the illusion they built about you finally slammed into the truth of who you really are. The collision wasn't quiet. It was devastating, and everyone watching felt it. Some of them saw this coming. Deep down, they always knew who you were. That's the part they'll never say out loud. They recognized your power before you did. They caught glimpses of it in the way you carried yourself, the way you refused to shrink to fit their comfort zones. Instead of honoring that, they panicked. Why? Because your existence threatened the little kingdoms they'd built for themselves. People don't fear the unknown. They fear the truth that will make them change. They fought over you not because you did something wrong, but because you represented something they couldn't control. You were the crack in their carefully painted walls, the one they knew would spread until the whole facade fell apart. Every lie they told about you, every smear, every act of character assassination was just a desperate attempt to plaster over that crack. But cracks don't disappear, they deepen, and eventually the entire wall comes down. You might be wondering, but why fight each other? Why not just confront me? Because confronting you would mean looking into the mirror and facing their own lies. That's far more terrifying than shouting at each other in a fit of rage. Fighting you directly would mean they'd have to admit you were right, that the truth has been sitting in the room the entire time, and their pride would rather bleed in a battlefield of their own making than bow to the truth you carry. The truth doesn't knock politely, it kicks the door off the hinges and walks right in. Imagine a candle-lit room where everyone's comfortable in the shadows, whispering, hiding their real faces. Then suddenly, someone throws the curtains wide open, flooding the place with sunlight. That's you, chosen one. You are that sunlight, and sunlight doesn't apologize for revealing what's in the room. It doesn't dim itself to keep liars comfortable, it just shines. In doing so, it exposes everything. That's why they fought. That's why their voices cracked and their hands trembled. You stripped away the shadows they were hiding in. They may call this just an argument, but don't be fooled. This was a war between illusion and truth, between the comfort of denial and the discomfort of revelation. Revelation always wins in the end, because once the truth is seen, it can't be unseen. No matter how much they scream, no matter how much they deny, the image of you standing in your authenticity is burned into their minds. They can't wash it away. Here's the poetic justice of it all. They've been trying to erase you for so long, and now because of this explosion, they've made you unforgettable. The very fight meant to bury your name has made it echo louder. The harder they push against you, the more visible you become. That's how the universe works. The force they use to try to destroy you ends up building your legend. When you are the truth, even your silence is a revolution. The heaviest chains are the ones you lock on yourself. Chosen one, somewhere in the silence of their own mind, they're suffocating. Regret isn't loud. It's a quiet predator. It doesn't knock. It doesn't roar. It just sits on your chest until you can't breathe. For them, every breath feels heavier because each inhale drags up another memory of what they did to you. Every lie, every smear, every moment, they convinced themselves you were nothing. Those memories are no longer just passing thoughts. They're links in a chain, and the chain is wrapped tight around their soul. You might be wondering why now. Why does the regret hit so hard? Because regret doesn't arrive when they're busy, distracted, or surrounded by noise. No, it waits until they're alone, until the room is silent, until there's nowhere to run. That's when it shows up, reminding them of the truth they buried. Imagine a dark, windowless cell. The door's locked from the inside, but they're the ones holding the key, yet they don't use it. Why? Because freedom would mean admitting they built the prison themselves. That's the cruelty of regret. It makes you face the fact that you were your own worst enemy. The human mind is merciless like that. Science tells us that suppressed emotions don't vanish. They harden. What they ignored about you didn't fade away. It fermented into something bitter, something they now can't spit out. No matter how hard they try, every attempt to distract themselves just circles back to you. Denial is a slow poison. The truth is the antidote, but only if you're brave enough to drink it. They aren't brave enough, and so the poison spreads. The mind they once used as a hiding place has turned into a battlefield. Regret fires the first shot, and guilt answers back. Every thought becomes a weapon, and every memory of you becomes another blow they can't dodge. This is where you win, chosen one, because you don't have to do a thing. You don't have to speak. You don't have to move. Their own mind is your loudest witness, and it will testify against them every single day until they break. You can dodge a question, but you can't outrun the answer forever. Chosen one, what they're feeling now isn't just guilt, it's not even sadness. This is deeper, the kind of unrest that shakes a person from the inside out. The truth they fought so hard to bury has turned into their shadow, following them everywhere. It shows up in the silence before sleep slips into their dreams, stares back at them from the mirror. Every reflection they see now is warped by the one reality they can't erase you. You might be asking, but why is the truth hitting them so hard now? Because the truth is patient, but it's also relentless. It doesn't knock politely, it breaks the door down when it's ready. Here's the part they never understood. The more they fought against it, the stronger it became. Imagine a freight train barreling down the tracks. They thought if they ignored it, it would just vanish. But truth doesn't vanish, it gains speed. When it finally hits, it doesn't just nudge you off balance, it flattens everything in its path. That's exactly what's happening now. Psalm chapter 119 verse 160 states, "The sum of your word is truth, and every one of your righteous rules endures forever." Darkness doesn't fear the light. It fears exposure. When fists flew that day, it wasn't just tempers breaking. The masks they wore, those fake smiles, the casual "I don't care," the smug confidence shattered in real time. Once a mask breaks, there's no repairing it. Everyone sees what's underneath. You never had to speak. You never had to lift a finger. The truth did the work for you, like it always does. It crept in, took its place at the table, and forced them to sit across from it with no way to leave. That's the power of what you represent. Chosen one, an unstoppable force they'll never be able to contain again. A lie doesn't need an enemy, it will destroy itself in time. Chosen one, they worked overtime to bury what they really felt about you, that spark of admiration. They refused to acknowledge the jealousy that burned through them every time you walked into a room. The fear that gripped them when your presence made their own flaws impossible to hide. They thought they could keep all of that locked away. They believed if they ignored you, you'd fade. If they starved you of attention, you'd vanish. But here's the reality. Truth doesn't starve, it grows. It doesn't need their validation or permission to rise to the surface. You might be wondering, so what finally broke them? The answer is simple: gravity. Illusions are heavy. Every lie, every carefully crafted story, every fake smile piled onto the structure they'd built around you. Like a building with rotten beams, it was only a matter of time before it collapsed under its own weight. Truth is like water. It finds its way through every crack. In that heated moment, their facade didn't just crack, it imploded. It wasn't just you who saw it, everyone did. The fear in their eyes, the twitch in their voice, the way their words stumbled, it was all there, plain as day. The image they'd worked so hard to maintain dissolved in seconds. The beauty of it, Chosen One, is that you didn't have to touch a single piece of that illusion. You didn't have to push. You didn't have to fight. They built their downfall themselves. All you had to do was keep standing in your truth, and their own weight dragged them to the ground. An illusion can't survive in the daylight, and you are the daylight. Now the mask is gone, and the story they told about you is shattered glass at their feet. No matter how hard they try to glue it back together, everyone's already seen the real picture. That's the end of the illusion and the beginning of their reckoning. You can run from people, but you can't outrun the truth. It knows your address. Chosen One, their escape plan was simple. Rewrite the story. Twist the facts, pretend none of it ever happened. They thought if they controlled the narrative, they could control reality. But here's the problem. Truth doesn't take orders. It doesn't bend. It doesn't break. It never forgets. Whether this played out at work, within family, or in the depths of a personal betrayal, the foundation they built was always fragile, a house of cards stacked on quicksand. They decorated it with confidence and arrogance, hoping no one would notice the instability. But the moment the wind of reality blew through, the whole thing came crashing down. A lie has speed, but the truth has endurance. Proverbs chapter 12 verse 19 confirms, "Truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue lasts only a moment." You might be wondering, can't they just lie their way out again? Not this time. They've run out of exits, their usual tricks. The fake innocence, the casual denial, the victim act don't work when everyone has already seen behind the curtain. The masks are gone, their stories conflict, and every path they try to take leads straight back to the mess they made. Imagine a maze where every turn leads to the same dead end. That's their life now. The light has been switched on, and every shadow they once hid in has vanished. They are standing in the open, exposed for exactly who they are. Truth doesn't negotiate, it arrives on time and fully armed. Here's the part they never saw coming. Justice doesn't need your permission. You didn't have to chase it, beg for it, or force it. What was done in the dark has been dragged into the light, not because you demanded it, but because it was always going to happen. The universe doesn't misplace evidence, and it doesn't delay its timing. Now they're out of moves, out of lies, out of masks, and for the first time they're realizing that the scariest thing isn't facing you, it's facing themselves. Your presence is the earthquake that makes false foundations crumble. Chosen One, what happened wasn't just an argument, it was a full-on collision between truth and illusion. For too long, deception had been the ruler of their little world. They got comfortable in it, built their identities on it, even learned to breathe in its poison. But the moment the truth stepped into the room, the air changed. The balance shifted. You, whether you realized it or not, were the reason. You are a disruptor of deception. It's not about whether you speak loudly or stay silent. Your energy alone is enough to make liars sweat. They can't stand in your presence without feeling the thin walls of their illusion start to tremble. Here's the part they'll never admit. Their fear isn't really of you, it's of what you represent. The truth doesn't have to fight, it just has to show up. John chapter 8 verse 32 mentions, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." You might wonder, if they're so scared, why not just avoid me? Because avoiding you doesn't erase what you've already revealed. The moment they stood in your presence, they were stripped of their excuses and masks. They saw themselves in the mirror you carry, and that reflection was unforgiving. Imagine a spotlight suddenly snapping on in a dark theater. The actors freeze mid-performance, realizing the audience can see every mistake, every false move, every crack in the set. That's what happens when you enter the picture, Chosen One. You are that spotlight. They can't rewrite the scene anymore. They can't hide behind clever lines or props. The performance is over, and the real selves they've been hiding are now front and center. No matter how fast they scramble to cover it back up, the damage is done. The truth has already taken its seat in the front row. Lies thrive in darkness. You are the daylight. This fight was never about petty words or surface-level drama. It was about energy. Your energy, the kind that makes deception loses its grip. Once that grip loosens, the entire structure falls apart. You didn't just show up in their story, chosen one. You ended the chapter they thought would last forever. The truth doesn't sneak up on you. You just keep pretending you don't see it coming. Chosen one, this confrontation wasn't random. It wasn't some sudden burst of chaos out of nowhere. The signs had been there all along, scattered like breadcrumbs for anyone willing to notice. But they didn't want to notice because noticing meant admitting the truth was circling in closer every single day. The universe leaves hints, and theirs were impossible to miss. Sunflowers, symbols of illumination, kept showing up in subtle ways, reminding them that light was on its way. Roses appeared too beautiful, but hiding sharp thorns, warning that the admiration they felt for you was tangled with resentment they couldn't control. Lizards, symbols of transformation, crossed their path, signaling that change was inevitable, whether they were ready for it or not. You can ignore a warning, but you can't stop the storm it predicts. Even the digital world refused to keep their secrets safe. Conversations leaked, screenshots appeared, private words they swore would never see daylight ended up in the open for all to see. That's the thing, they thought their lies lived in a vault, but in reality, that vault had been cracked for a long time, and it was only a matter of time before everything spilled out. You might wonder, was it just bad luck? No, it was inevitability. The universe does not allow deception to flourish forever. It gives liars time to confess on their own, and when they don't, it arranges the exposure for them. Truth moves like water. It will find a way through. So when the confrontation finally came, it wasn't fate rolling the dice, it was fate cashing the check. They wrote the day they chose deception over honesty. Every symbol, every leak, every sign had been whispering the same message: your time is almost up. Once the truth is spoken, there's no putting it back in the box. Chosen one, the cycle has ended. This isn't a pause or a temporary setback. This is the moment their story took a turn they can never undo. The second they moved against you, they weren't just targeting you personally. They were stepping into direct opposition with something far greater, the unstoppable current of truth. When you fight against truth, you don't just lose, you erase your own foundation. Now the fallout is unfolding in real time. Trust that once propped them up is gone, replaced by suspicion in every conversation. The influence they used to wield effortlessly is slipping through their fingers like water, no matter how tightly they try to grip it. The whispers they dismissed as harmless gossip are now being repeated openly, each retelling sharper and more detailed than the last. You can't plant seeds in poisoned soil and expect a harvest of loyalty. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 14 reveals, "For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil." You might be wondering, can they fix it? No, not this. Because this isn't about punishment, it's the natural order. You don't build on deception and expect to stand forever. The truth once released doesn't retreat. It doesn't forget. It moves forward, sweeping away everything that can't stand in its light. Imagine trying to hold back the tide with your bare hands. That's them, right now, watching wave after wave crash over the walls they swore would protect them. Each wave takes more of their structure with it until there's nothing left but the debris of their own making. Truth is not an attack. It's the unveiling of what was always there. The beauty of this moment, chosen one, is that you don't have to force anything. The shift has already happened, and there's no reversing it. They can deny, they can spin, they can even play the victim, but it won't matter. The truth has already burned itself into the minds of everyone who matters, and no performance can erase it now. This is the point of no return, and they've crossed it. From here on out, every step they take will be on ground that remembers exactly what they did and who they did it to. The fight ends, but the truth keeps talking. Chosen one, the loudest part of the storm may have passed, but this is when the real revelations begin. Not in the chaos, not in the shouting, but in the quiet after. This is the moment where people's true colors show, not in the heat of the battle, but in what they do once the noise dies down. Some will avoid you entirely, as if your presence is a mirror they can't bear to look into. They're not afraid of you. They're afraid of the truth that clings to you like light. Others will cling tighter, drawn to your strength now that the masks are gone. Then there are the ones who still try to control the narrative, scrambling to patch together a version of events that makes them look clean. When the masks drop, every reaction is a confession. You might be wondering, how do I know who's real? The answer is simple. Watch what they do, not what they say. Silence can be an apology. Distance can be an admission of guilt. Loyalty can be proven without a single word. In the aftermath, the lies no longer have a stage to perform on. The masks are gone, and all that's left standing is the truth. The truth, chosen one, is that you were never the problem, you were the test. They just showed you exactly who passed and who failed. Pressure doesn't break diamonds, it reveals them. Chosen one, this was never truly about the fight itself. That clash was just the stage. What was really happening was a test, not a test to destroy you, but to refine you, to strip away everything that didn't belong on your path. Every reaction you witnessed, every mask that fell, every truth that surfaced, these weren't random events. They were confirmations of what you already felt deep down. You are not ordinary. You carry weight. You change rooms simply by walking in. You might be wondering, but why did it have to happen like this? Because illusions don't dissolve gently, they shatter. Sometimes the only way to clear your path is to let everything false collapse in plain sight. This wasn't chaos. It was clarity disguised as conflict. Revelation chapter 3 verse 11 encourages, "I am coming soon. Hold fast what you have so that no one may seize your crown." When you step into your power, everything that's not real will trip over itself trying to leave. Now the air is different, lighter, clearer. The distractions have been burned away. The people who were only here to take are gone, and what remains is solid. You've been sharpened, your discernment stronger than ever. The noise is over. The path ahead is open. From this point forward, you walk it without the weight of their deception slowing you down. Real power is when your presence speaks louder than their words. Chosen one, they fought over you because the truth had reached its boiling point. It had been sitting there for so long, hidden under polite smiles, buried beneath fake compliments, locked behind small talk that was nothing more than camouflage. But tension has a shelf life, and theirs was about to expire. The moment came, and it was like glass shattering in slow motion. Every mask they wore, every attempt at indifference, every forced display of confidence hit the floor and broke into pieces. The most remarkable part: you didn't lift a finger. You didn't have to. The truth doesn't need defending, it just needs the space to show itself. Your presence alone did the work. Your energy is the kind that makes pretenders uncomfortable because it doesn't bend, it doesn't shrink, and it doesn't play along with the illusion. When you walk into a room, you don't just occupy space, you shift it. Deep down, they knew it. Now the truth is out, hanging in the air where everyone can see it. No matter how hard they try, they can't stuff it back into the shadows. The damage to their lie is permanent, and the proof of who you are is undeniable. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is absolute silence. Chosen one, you didn't need to retaliate with sharp words or match their venom with your own. You didn't need to raise your voice, trade insults, or justify yourself to anyone. That's the strength of your divine position. You understood that the truth stands firm on its own foundation, unshaken by the noise of others. You let them speak their lies, twist their narratives, and perform their empty charade for an audience that doesn't matter. While they ranted and raved, you stood resolute, calm, and unmoved, your silence a testament to your unwavering confidence in God's plan. That silence wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a force so profound that its echo lingers in their minds, haunting them long after their shouting faded into nothingness. They braced for a battle, expecting you to engage in their chaos, but they were utterly unprepared for your refusal to play their game. They couldn't fathom you standing there, offering no fuel for their fire, no reaction for their provocation. Your silence left them stranded with their own thoughts, and those thoughts became their greatest adversary, an opponent they could never outwit. Your silence is a mirror they cannot escape, reflecting their own falsehoods back at them. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 25. Instructs opponents must be gently instructed in the hope that God will grant them repentance, leading them to a knowledge of the truth. Picture an empty theater, its stage worn and dusty, where they continue to act out their tired script. They deliver their dramatic lines, gesturing wildly, glancing toward the crowd for applause that never comes. The seats are vacant, the spotlight dim, and every word they utter echoes back unanswered, reverberating in the hollow space they created. That's the power of your silence. Chosen one, it dismantles the stage they rely on to sustain their illusions. It strips away the audience they crave, leaving them exposed to the emptiness of their own performance. You might wonder, doesn't my silence let them believe they've triumphed? Not when the truth has already been revealed. Your refusal to engage only amplifies their desperation, making their attempts to provoke you appear futile and frantic. The more they strive to draw you into their conflict, the more evident it becomes that you stand above it untouched by their schemes. That's the kind of authority they cannot bear, a quiet, unshakable power that commands respect without demanding attention. Revenge doesn't always require confrontation. Often it's found in the serene indifference of letting their own words unravel them. By choosing silence, you've allowed their lies, their actions, and their own constructed reality to turn against them, ensnaring them in the web they wove. Your silence carries a weight that no insult could ever match. It's a divine strategy rooted in the wisdom of trusting God's justice over human retaliation. While they expected you to stoop to their level, to grapple in the mud of their accusations, you rose above, standing firm in the light of your calling. Their voices may have roared for a moment, but your silence speaks for eternity, resonating with the strength of God's truth. Consider a mighty oak standing tall in a storm, while the winds howl and branches snap. The tree remains rooted, its quiet presence a testament to its enduring strength. That's you, chosen one, anchored in divine purpose, unmoved by the tempests of deceit and conflict. Their attempts to provoke you are like fleeting gusts, powerless against your steadfast resolve. You don't need to argue or defend yourself, because God fights your battles and His truth is your shield. Their lies may have sparked a momentary uproar, but your silence ensures that their noise collapses under its own weight, leaving them to face the consequences of their deception. Imagine their frustration as they swing at shadows, expecting resistance, but finding only stillness. Your silence is not passive. It's a deliberate choice, a weapon forged in faith that disarms their tactics. It's the calm before the revelation, the quiet that amplifies God's voice in their hearts. They thought they could control the narrative, but your refusal to engage rewrites the story, placing the spotlight on their own inconsistencies. Every shout they uttered, every lie they spun now hangs in the air, unanswered, forcing them to confront the reality they tried to distort. You, chosen one, have turned their chaos into a classroom where God's truth is the lesson they cannot escape. Your silence is a beacon, drawing others to the clarity of your faith, showing them that true power lies not in reacting to falsehoods, but in resting in the certainty of God's plan. By staying quiet, you've given their words nowhere to land, no target to strike, no fuel to burn. Their performance falters, their script unravels, and the truth you embody shines brighter than their fading spotlight. This divine silence reflects the strength of your trust in God's timing and justice. You didn't need to add your voice to their cacophony, because you know the Creator orchestrates a symphony far greater than their noise. Each moment you chose the silence, you aligned yourself with His will, allowing His truth to work through you. Picture a still lake, its surface undisturbed, even as storms rage around it, reflecting the heavens above with perfect clarity. That's your silence, chosen one, a serene reflection of God's glory, unshaken by the tempests of human conflict. While they sought to drag you into their drama, you stood as a pillar of peace, your quiet confidence exposing the fragility of their falsehoods. Their lies may have sparked a fleeting spectacle, but your silence ensures that God's truth endures unshakable and eternal. You've shown that the greatest response to deception is not a counterattack, but a steadfast trust in the one who sees all, knows all, and will bring all things to light in His perfect time. Actions fade, but their echo can fill a lifetime. Chosen one, what they did to you might be in the past, but the consequences are still chasing them. This is the part they didn't think through. They thought they could act recklessly, spin the story, then walk away clean. But betrayal leaves an echo. A sound that follows you into every room, even when you think no one's listening. Now, trust is gone. Bridges they once walked across daily have burned to ash, and there's no rebuilding them without facing the truth. Alliances they relied on have cracked. People who used to stand by them now keep their distance not because of anything you said, but because of what they revealed about themselves. You can repaint the walls, but the cracks will always show. Imagine a white shirt with a deep, dark stain in the center. They can try to scrub it, bleach it, even cover it with a jacket, but they'll always know it's there. Over time, that stain bleeds through. That's their betrayal. It doesn't matter how many smiles they wear or how many words they spin, the mark is permanent. You might wonder, will people eventually forget? Not really. They may stop talking about it out loud, but the memory will always hang in the air like a faint scent that never leaves. Every space they enter now carries a shift in energy, a pause in conversation, a glance exchanged between people who remember exactly what they did. Some shadows aren't cast by the sun. They're cast by choices. That's where they live now, in the shadow of their own actions. They can move cities, change circles, or reinvent themselves, but the echo will follow. Because no matter where they go, the one thing they can't outrun is themselves. Your story might be the key that unlocks someone else's clarity. Chosen one now, it's your turn. Have you felt this energy before the shift in the air when you walk into a room? Have you seen the way people's eyes give away more than their words ever could? Maybe they smiled to your face, but months later their true feelings slipped out in ways they couldn't hide. This isn't just about me telling you what's happening, it's about us sharing the patterns we've seen. Because the more we speak on it, the more obvious it becomes that these moments aren't accidents. They're part of a bigger picture, one that every chosen one has brushed against at some point. Truth shared is truth amplified. So I want to hear from you. What's your story? Have you ever watched someone's mask slowly slip until the real face underneath was impossible to miss? Have you ever been in a room where the tension was so thick you could feel it in your bones, only to later find out you were at the center of it all? Drop your experiences in the comments. Let's talk about it, because your truth might be the very thing another chosen one needs to hear right now. Listen. Chosen one, you've seen it clearly now. Every mask, every lie, every crack in their illusion. This wasn't just a fight, it was the truth claiming its space. You stood through it without losing an ounce of your power. If this message hits home, press the like button if you haven't already. If you're still not part of our family, make sure to press the subscribe button. Together, we'll keep exposing the games, standing in our strength, and walking in the light the universe has given us. Stay sharp. Stay unshakable.